Hey, here's a topic I had intended to talk about somewhere around half a year ago, and it just never happened. Until today! This marks one of the last couple of videos in my series about Don Bluth-related projects that had no involvement from Don Bluth himself. A long time ago, I introduced you to a TV series based on the video game Dragon's Lair. And actually, around the same time, there was also a Space Ace TV series created by Ruby Spears Productions, who would later go on to be owned by many different companies, including merging with Hanna-Barbera. So the similarities between Dragon's Lair, Space Ace, and many Hanna-Barbera cartoons are numerous. Lots of really similar sound effects and animation styles. That is to say, it looks and sounds nothing like the original video game. The original arcade games sounded totally 80s rockin', and almost nothing looks better than Bluth's animation style. This, much like its Dragon's Lair counterpart, easily became nothing more than your typical Saturday morning cartoon fare. That's not to say it was awful, and it's not even like it's inaccurate to what the original game made you expect from the characters and what they do. Heck, at least Kimberly is still wearing the same outfit she was from the game, unlike Princess Daphne's TV series adaptation in Dragon's Lair. It's just not the quality that I would have expected out of such a fun title. So of course you have Ace, a big buff dude working as a space cadet, same as Officer Kimberly. Just like the game, Ace got hit with the evil Borf's Infanto Ray, which occasionally reverts Ace to the form of that of a 12 or 13-year-old boy named Dexter. Borf is voiced by Arthur Burghardt, the same actor who voiced Singe in the Dragon's Lair series. Just an interesting tie between the two series.
Now's my chance to take over Space Command. Grin, prepare the special buzzer. It'll be like taking candy from a baby.
A recurring character now appearing in this TV series is Space Marshal Vaughn, who issues commands to officers Ace and Kimberly. But much in the style of a silly Saturday morning cartoon, Vaughn can never seem to tell that Ace and Dexter are the same person. For some reason, Ace and Kimberly are under the impression that if Vaughn knew the truth, they'd get in a ton of trouble. I'm pretty sure if they'd tell him the truth about his condition, they'd find themselves in a lot less stressful situations. Kimberly frequently passes Dexter off as her younger brother, which is kinda just weird, I don't know.
Whoa!
Hmm? Well, what did you say?
Hello?
Dexter. Officer Kimberly, how many times must I tell you to keep your little brother out of Space Command headquarters?
Unlike the Dragon's Lair series, the game's main character actually is the regular villain every episode, and the space cadets together always have to stop Borf's evil plans to destroy or take over the Earth. And while characters, villains, and locations directly mirror their video game counterparts, the one thing that I miss from the Dragon's Lair series that didn't carry over into the Space Ace series is the reference to making in-game decisions. While Dragon's Lair always had a narrator asking the audience what they would do if they were in Dirk the Daring's position and then play out what the character actually chose to do, Space Ace makes no nifty reference to this gameplay mechanic at all. A little disappointing, I guess, since I felt that that was one of the major things going for the Dragon's Lair series. The series is only 12 episodes long, and each episode is only 15 minutes, 10 if you put the commercials in, so the whole series is pretty easy to swallow, which is good because I find the cartoon to be pretty difficult to swallow otherwise. As I mentioned earlier, it's standard cartoon fare, with cartoony sound effects every 5 seconds and bad puns galore.
Almost there! After you!
And I know it's just a cartoon, but I just can't help but notice all the bad space physics. Yes, please, keep sticking your bare hand out into space, it'll be fine. Otherwise, this series is completely unnoteworthy. The stories range from babysitting a bunch of kids at camp, to participating in some weird kind of space Olympics, to trying to outwit some bandit who looks exactly like Dexter. All the stories are just really uninteresting. If you didn't know it was trying to be Space Ace, you could probably confuse it with any other Saturday morning cartoon of its time period. And unlike Dragon's Lair, to the best of my knowledge, the show hasn't been released officially on DVD. For the sake of a collector, I can see how that kind of sucks, but frankly, I don't see it as a huge loss. I only tell you people about it for the sake of completion and for the sake of spreading knowledge that it even exists. And, well, now I can say I've talked about it. And, yeah, let's just move on with our lives.
Space Marshal Vaughn might be in serious trouble.
Hey guys, one last thing before I take off. This is going to sound absolutely crazy, and I can understand why, but I've actually entered the People's Nerd Contest for King of the Nerds Season 2, and, well, despite how crazy it sounds, I'm actually doing fairly well. I submitted a video that required a combination of public votes and producer appeal, and eventually your votes will help the judges pick one of us as their last contestant. And despite everything I thought was going to happen, I've actually managed to make it into the top 10. Now, the great thing about this is that you don't necessarily have to get me all the way up to number 1 in votes. You can plainly see that some videos have more views than others, which probably correlates similarly to the amount of votes they each have. Actually, I just need to stay within the top 3 in order to get the chance to speak to a producer, and as of the release of this video, I'm actually sitting pretty okay at number 2. But we can't slack off it if we want it to stay that way or get any more promising. Every day you can vote once a day, but the voting is only happening for a few days more, up until midnight on May 31st. That's why I'll need all the daily votes I can get. Now, it's really important that I mention, I'm asking you to please not spam the vote or otherwise try to circumvent the system in order to grant me more votes. As much as I appreciate the enthusiasm, rigged votes will be negated, so it'll actually probably hurt more than help. That having been said, I'm only asking for your vote if you aren't completely turned off by the idea of the show to begin with, and then if you actually liked my video submission, and then if you think I'm the best choice out of the 10 remaining entries to represent you guys. If you don't like the show, don't like me, don't like my video, or think that somebody else is far better suited for the casting, don't vote for me. Vote for somebody else, or don't vote at all. That's fine, you won't hurt my feelings. The short link directly to my specific video is up here on the screen right now, and if that doesn't work, I'm also providing full links that might help you get there. I know, this all sounds totally ridiculous, but I think that together we can do this and represent the kind of people we would like to see featured. It's not just me, we're doing this together. Whether you vote or don't vote, thank you very much for your support this far and over my years producing videos, and I'll be seeing you guys again shortly.